Hello, everyone, and welcome to Void Arcade, the gaming podcast. No, how did I call it? I call it the AfterGame Podcast. I'm adding a subtitle to the title so that people know. The AfterGame. I was gonna go with
it's after the game.
Yeah, I was gonna go with post credits, but after game.
And it sounds like a Marvel movie.
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
don't need that association, you know.
Yeah. After game sounds nice.
The AfterGame Podcast.
I think I like that.
Yeah, thanks. We're talking all about one game today. Silksong, Hollow Knight Silksong. I'm Brando, and joined with me is Zach.
I'm Zach. That's me.
This should be a good episode. This has been the slowest burn game of all time for me, and I've somehow enjoyed all my time with it, except for a couple bosses that kicked my butt.
That seems to be the general sentiment of everybody.
Yeah.
They're like, the game's great, but man, I really hated it sometimes.
Yeah.
That was pretty much my experience too, I think.
Yeah. It was good though.
There's a lot of discourse about it.
There is a ton of discourse.
Great.
Yeah, and I think it'll be interesting to get your thoughts on that. And I have some sections where we'll go over that. Probably just to kick off, though, I was going to do game history. That's what we were doing before. So this is from an add-on DLC to Hollow Knight to a full standalone sequel game. Hollow Knight Silksong was developed by Team Cherry over the course of 6 or 7 years. I did the meme.
Yeah.
I did not mean to even do that.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Team Cherry announced it would be a full-length game in 2019. So that was incredibly long, which led to a lot of good memes, silk posting, where people would ask, will this game ever release? And
Team Cherry beat me up in a parking lot when I asked them about the game.
they beat them up.
I went to the Team Cherry offices. They're abandoned. Good stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost miss those times.
The silk posting.
The silk posting was pretty good. People try to keep it alive still, but it's just not the same anymore.
Yeah. I mean, now you got Bloodborne kind of is the last silk posting type game, I think.
Yeah, but nobody has any hope for that. Nobody really expects that.
But people are hoping for Half-Life 3. You've seen.
Well, that's a recent thing. That's a more recent thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Bloodborne.
People had given up hope on Half-Life 3 for a long time too.
Yeah.
But Bloodborne, there's no hope. There's never been any indication that there's going to be more Bloodborne. So,
which is so sad.
It's very sad. Sony doesn't want to do anything with Bloodborne for some reason, even though Elden Ring was and still kind of is the biggest game ever.
It's crazy.
But I digress. Yeah. Speaking of Bloodborne, though, there's a lot of Bloodborne-esque things in Silksong.
That is true.
That I noticed, so I thought was pretty cool. I remember when we did the Hollow Knight episode for this podcast.
Yeah.
And I said that it was the final seal.
And
to get Silksong. When did we make that podcast or that episode?
Yeah, I was gonna check that episode. September 25th, 2022.
Holy
that
moly.
is so long ago. 3 years ago.
Jeez Louise, man.
Jeez. It's such a big, long wait. And so I was really glad that Jason Schreier from Bloomberg made that Why Silksong Took 7 Years to Make article. I wanted to reread over some of the quotes from that because I think they're really funny more than anything. And I think the history of this game taking so long it's a part of this. It's a part of this whole thing.
It's funny story.
It is funny.
It's a funny story for sure.
Yeah, so I've pulled the quotes that I sent in Discord that one day. And so he's saying, this is from Team Cherry. Quote, "We're very fortunate that we have a development method that is so enjoyable," Gibson said. "Not sure how we stumbled into that. Everything comes together quickly. You can see results fast. Ideas turn into something that exists in the game almost immediately before your eyes, and that's very satisfying. And that allows you to go off on those tangents and meet weird characters because someone's offhandedly mentioned a weird character as an idea and the other person's laughed, and that's enough. You're always working on a new idea, a new item, a new area, a new boss. That stuff's so nice. It's for the sake of just completing the game that we're stopping. We could have kept going. The downside of this methodology is that it could have lasted forever. I remember at some point I just had to stop sketching, Gibson said, because I went, everything I'm drawing here has to end up in the game. That's a cool idea. That's in. You realize if I don't stop drawing, this is going to take 15 years to finish.
Those guys, yeah, they're crazy, man.
They're nuts.
It was literally just, oh, hey, we should add this in. Oh, we should add this in. Hey, we should add this in. And then after 3 years go by,
Yeah.
they're like, oh yeah, we have to release the game eventually.
Yeah.
We told them we would release it.
We told them.
It's gotta come out eventually. I mean, I never blamed them for it taking long because it's the development team overall for this game was bigger than the first one, but still, it's basically just William and Ari doing most of everything.
2 guys. Can you imagine?
It's just the 2 of them. That's crazy, dude. A game of this quality too.
Right.
I can't imagine what level those guys are operating on.
And like the true geniuses of that, like just absolute geniuses. I actually, a couple of years ago, this is a tangent that's kind of interesting. I backed a Kickstarter for a game that had a very similar story. I feel like Hollow Knight's almost a cautionary tale that if you're not a complete wizard, you can't make it. But anyway, same.
It's a little depressing.
Man,
it's a little sad
because I backed this Kickstarter. I'm gonna see how many people got on the team. Two guys that were the developers, Metroidvania 2D art style. They actually got huge support for it initially. 30,000 pounds in 48 hours.
Wow.
With 1,700 backers. And so the total pledges were 94,000 pounds, so almost $100,000.
That's crazy.
So the game got made. It released into early access, and yeah, it kind of just died.
Oh no.
They released an update, and they're like, "Hey guys, we're pulling it off the shelf. We're gonna keep working on it because we thought that more people would play the game that they bought."
Oh no, that's sad.
It's like, like it really is a miracle that Hollow Knight even like worked out, because they only had like 2,000 backers, right? Originally.
In the original one, I don't even know how many. But you're right, it is a miracle. I guess it just speaks to the quality of the game that it even ended up where it did. And they did, like, the game had updates over its lifespan, as I'm sure Silksong will as well.
I'm so looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think they've even said somewhere in some article or something, like, yeah, we're gonna make more for Silksong. DLC is coming.
Yes.
So
2,158 backers, and they got 60,000 Australian.
Dang.
Originally, that's
crazy, man.
That is so crazy. Just a little small scale, but it was just so good though. How'd they do that?
I guess.
I don't know.
Well, I know that the original game, it took its time coming out fully as well. Just like Silksong did. They work slow, but I guess that's good because then that means it comes out finished and with quality, right?
Yeah. Somehow. So one of the quotes quotes I pulled is they don't have task management software. They just, because normally like us development companies, like, yeah, we got bug tracking, we got this, we're working on this, we're tracking our progress. They just in the article, they're just like, what is that?
Dude, they're just like me. They're just like me in that.
on a totally different level.
I wouldn't use that stuff either. I'm like, I'm just gonna figure it out, dude. I'm just gonna make this thing.
You're just gonna make it.
I mean, and there's only 2 of them. Like, they probably have like a whiteboard where they write down like all the important stuff that needs to get done, and then other than that, they just kind of do whatever they want.
Yeah,
and just work on it.
Just,
I would imagine.
Just crazy. It sounds like a weird dream. Just like work every day on something cool.
Yeah, it wasn't in development hell. They were in development heaven.
Yeah.
They just got to put in whatever they wanted.
Yes.
And take however long they wanted on it.
Yep. Which is cool.
So.
And it
good for them.
Yeah, good for them. It panned out. It got Mighty 91 on Open Critic. 93% very positive on Steam, which with an insane peak player count of 587,000 at launch, 500,000. And
it crashed the Steam servers on release day. I remember.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was up early that morning. I was messaging you guys. I'm like, Steam is down. No,
that is insane.
I can't buy the game.
I've never ever in my life even. Has there even been another time where Steam crashed?
Not that I know of, where Steam servers crashed. I can't remember a time like that for any game. I think maybe when some big Nintendo game came out, the Nintendo servers had problems.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that might have happened at some point. But I've never seen it happen for Steam, so this was a big deal.
Yeah. According to the Google AI summary, Silksong is the only one recently that's been a thing for. Which is
Google AI is always right.
Yep, it's always right. 100% trust.
Yep.
Even still, I see Silksong is pulling 20,000 players a night on Steam, which is kind of nuts for a single player game with a definitive ending,
Yeah, like 3 months later still?
Yeah.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah.
And I mean, it has a really dedicated speedrunning community.
Like
the original Hollow Knight did. The same people are working on runs for that game now.
That would be cool.
And they figured out some crazy stuff week 1, and they're still going at it.
I need to look into that.
And then there's multiple endings to get.
Mm-hmm.
You can 100% everything. And there's missable stuff too. Like if you play through the game, you can miss things.
Yep.
That you get locked out of.
Yep.
Through story progression. So. And I mean, I'll probably pick it back up eventually. After I 100% it, I'm like, this was great, but I'm gonna need a break because
yep,
this game took something out of me, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
No,
but it's maybe on a repeat playthrough it'd be less draining, I guess.
Yeah. I'm kind of waiting around for. I'd love to play new content like DLC stuff. A couple years.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
I'm sure that'll come eventually.
That would be cool, which does lead to. Well, we're recording this right before the Game Awards. Do we think it's gonna get Game of the Year? Probably not.
I have the same opinion that Team Trade themselves said recently.
Oh, what did they say?
Which is no. Basically said our game isn't for everybody.
Did they really? Ooh.
They know what they did. They know they made it a really hard game that can be really frustrating for a lot of people. And yeah, they're like, yeah, it doesn't have that broad appeal that Expedition 33 has.
Yeah.
And Expedition 33 is also a great game. I played that one as well, and it's great.
I still ain't played that one.
But it definitely has the normie appeal.
Mm-hmm.
Because people who don't play RPGs are playing it.
Yeah. They made Mario.
But then Silksong.
And they made Expedition 33.
Yeah, there's only been 2 games, Mario and then Expedition 33. There's only been 2 RPGs, Final Fantasy 7 and Expedition 33.
That's what it is.
Yeah. So Silksong just doesn't have that broad appeal. I'm hoping it wins something.
Yeah,
because it deserves it.
Absolutely. Do we think?
Just how?
No, keep going.
Sorry. Just with how much motion Expedition 33 is getting, it kind of seems like it'll just sweep. I think.
Yeah. Yep. with all their nominations and stuff. Should be interesting to see.
Which is fine. They deserve it too.
Yeah,
down.
that development story is crazy. For another time, perhaps.
Yeah,
but so I was skimming through Silksong's negative reviews on Steam, and I don't even people with like a legitimate number of hours, like 49, 62, 35. Like these are people with the tens of hours in here. 121 hours. Don't recommend this game. 36 hours. I don't recommend this game. Need major adjustments. Most absurdly difficult game I've ever played. No redeeming qualities to it.
Okay, that's a little exaggerated.
The game is more interested in testing your patience than your skill. A lot of people. This is like across the board with most people I talk to that haven't got into the game. And I know people that loved Hollow Knight that I've kind of talked with, like, hey, you played Silksong? Because I'm playing Silksong. They're like, no, I can't. It's too difficult for me. I don't see the difficulty. Like, I get that visually we're looking at, like, 2 damage a lot of the time. Just visually, it might be a little scary that Silksong has bosses and enemies that deal 2 damage. But just like I showed you, I went through most of this game with basically 3 life. And I was fine. So I can't, and I'm not good at games. I'm a casual. I don't get good.
So yeah, like I don't want to invalidate, people's experiences and how they go through games. I'm sure it is difficult, but I'm kind of right there with you. It's kind of just like, at some point I just accepted, like, okay, this game is like this. It's hard. Like, that's what this is.
Yeah.
I accepted it and I played around it. I'm like, okay, I can't be up in the bosses or the enemies' faces like I was in the first game, and just whack them a million times.
Yeah.
So if I do that, I'm gonna get hit, and I take 2 damage.
Yeah.
You play different, and I think that's kind of what they wanted you to do. Like,
right.
Hornet plays extremely different from the Knight in the first game.
Exactly.
And she heals for 3 at once. It takes a full bar of silk, but she heals for 3, whereas the Knight only heals for 1. And that's the balance they wanted to hit. Like, yeah, you take a bunch of damage, but you can heal more at once, and faster, and in the air.
Yeah.
Which you couldn't do in the first game.
Yep. When I learned you could heal in the air, I think that kind of was a game changer for me. Because I'm like, oh, well.
And so I think...
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the big dividing thing here is that the game is especially brutal in the beginning. The beginning areas of the game can be really brutal if you don't know what you're doing. If you're still trying to play it like the first game.
Right. And trying to get used to the diagonal pogo, too.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have any crests. You only have the diagonal.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have any tools. You don't have any of the big broken tools yet.
Yep.
So yeah, it can be really brutal, especially in like Hunter's March. I was one of the people that went there right away. I found it. And because I'm stubborn, I'm like, I'm getting to the end of this thing. Right now. I'm like, I'm not coming back. I'm going to do this now. And it took me, I don't know, like an hour, maybe 2 to get through it all. Because I couldn't wrap my head around the diagonal pogo. And I probably still can't because I switched off of it. First chance I got.
Same. Yep. Reaper Crest. Unite.
And so yeah, I can get it if people like did the same thing as me. They came to Hunter's March and they don't know that it's optional. Like nobody did in the beginning, right?
Yep.
And they're like, I got to get through here, but oh my gosh, I can't because the pogoing feels so weird. The enemies hit for 2, and they're really hard.
Yeah, that place.
There's a gauntlet in the middle.
That would be evil. That would be an evil place to go to first.
Yeah. So if that's people's first experience with the game, yeah, I can't blame them.
Yeah.
I can't blame them for getting mad at it.
I'll step off my high horse. You have a good point. You have the right.
I mean, no, because I'm kind of with you at the same time. Like, I don't want to say get good. like a soul slop guy, but you kind of have to get good. There's no way around it. If you want to play the game, that's what the game is. You gotta accept it.
Yeah.
So call me a fence sitter, but like, yeah, I'm like in the middle. I can understand if you don't want to play a game like this, but like, then you can't complain about it being too hard without realizing like what kind of game it is at the same time. You know?
Yeah.
It's a hard game. That's what they wanted apparently.
Yep. And to a degree, though, I'm glad that it's that much more different than Hollow Knight is. You know, like more Hollow Knight would have been great, but I'm glad that this feels. It doesn't necessarily. I don't want to call it a sequel game, but it's like, you know, it's so different, and I'm glad that it's different. I'm glad that there's a different ways to interact with the game, like all the different quests and all the different like bosses and the different mindset you have to be in to beat some of these guys. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have been disappointed if it was quote unquote easy like Hollow Knight, but
I mean, Hollow Knight isn't easy, but it is definitely a lot more laid back. You can have a more chill experience playing it.
Yeah.
There's a lot more like chill, relaxed exploration in that game. Like in Silksong, every area is like a white palace. Every area.
Yeah.
Like freaking what's the one area? The Sands of Karak.
Oh my gosh.
That area kicked my butt.
Absolutely.
That area is straight up just a white palace Path of Pain type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous.
Path of Pain. It's just a normal area.
And that was one point where I got really mad at the game because I was fighting the boss around that area. What are they called? The big fly.
Yep.
The single one after you kill its mate.
Yep.
Yeah, and so I kept dying to that one, and I didn't find the shortcut right away from the one bench.
Hey, yeah, me neither.
So I kept having to go so I kept going the long way through that really hard platforming, and that was the point where I was like, I'm about to crash out. I'm about to quit this game.
I'm about to crash out and lose my mind. Well, that's how I was with the Grohl in the Bile Haven. Grohl the Great.
Yep. He's the one people always point to. And yeah, that run back is atrocious because the
so
bench
bad.
you find is a troll bench. It's a trap.
Yeah.
The actual bench you're supposed to find is hidden behind a hidden wall.
Yeah, I could not believe that.
That's the one thing where I'm like, all right, you guys did not have to do this. Like, why would you do this?
It made me so like. And every time I do that run back too, before I found the secret bench, because eventually, and that is one thing that I did do that I would recommend people do if they're, quitting the game early, is pull up just a map. And when you get like angry, because I was like, there's no way that those suckers in Australia made this run back like this from the Bellway station all the way. Or I guess you could
have to go all the way to the top.
All the way to the top. And sure enough,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, there's that hidden bench, which did make it a little easier. But I was like, if they just kept
Only
the other bench, the troll bench, that would have been fine. But come on,
that is a good recommendation. Like if you're stuck somewhere and you get really mad, you just pull up the map, see if there's like a shortcut or something you can unlock. Like.
Yeah.
There's no shame in that. There's no shame in that.
No shame. Yeah, I did that a couple of times just because I was like, come on. Are we serious?
That's how I found the shortcut in the Sands of Karak. Because I was like, I'm sick of this run back. Like, there has to be a better way to do this.
Has to be.
And I looked up, and sure enough, you hit this random stalactite above this bridge, and it breaks the bridge, and you can get through.
Yeah. Kudos.
And I was like, sure, I guess. Fine.
Kudos to them, though, because it seemed like every time I was like, there's got to be an easier way. Kudos to Team Cherry for actually having an easier way, even though it's stupid. to get.
To give them credit.
Yeah.
More often than not, whenever you do think there has to be an easier way, there actually usually is an easier way.
There really is.
You just have to find it.
Yeah.
So credit to them for that, at least, I guess.
100%. 100%.
But then there are some stuff that people complain about in the game where I'm just like, come on, it's not that bad. Like the run back to the last judge. That one's not bad at all.
Yeah, I didn't think that was bad.
That's like a 30-second run back. You're fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can, if you know where to go on it, you can just skip all the enemies. You don't have to deal with them.
Because that's what
It's a few wall jumps.
That's the Grand Gate, right? Where you start that.
Yeah, the blasted steps.
Steps. Yeah, that's barely nothing.
That one wasn't bad at all. And yeah, people were complaining about it.
That was a
That's
fun
just 'cause-
boss.
That was a good boss.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. That was a fun one to learn. People are just too used to Elden Ring with their Stakes of America. It spawns them right outside the boss.
Right.
We've been spoiled now. They forget the ancient ways.
Forget the ways. The ancient texts have been lost.
Yeah.
Yes. The sacred text.
If you did the Martyr Ligarius run back in Bloodborne, you can do the 30-second run back to the last judge. It's fine. You're not gonna die.
Yeah, that one's fine. Yeah, the Bilehaven, the Grohl run back before you find the secret bench. Now that's a complainer. That
is a valid one. That is a valid one, especially if you don't have the item that keeps the maggots off you.
Right. Oh.
Which I didn't get that until I was well done with Bile Water. I got that and I was like, oh great.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna use this.
I was in the same boat. There is a couple run backs where I was like, this is like cool, but it's very set dressing. Like that last one in the cradle, where you have to do the platforming up to the Weave Mother.
Grandmother Silk.
Spoilers,
I guess.
Yeah, spoilers moment. We have to platform up, and then every time you platform up, like for 40 seconds or something. I feel like there's a couple of those.
I never actually lost to her, so I never had to do that run back.
Really?
I think it's because it took me a long time to beat the first Sinner, who has a similar moveset to Grandmother Silk.
Oh, yes.
And so beating her trained me for that kind of fight, and so I never lost to Grandmother Silk.
Yeah.
She was easier.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I will attribute my many deaths to I didn't have the double jump when I beat her the first time.
That's crazy. That's wild.
I was like, there's got to be
That would.
I kept calling it a super jump in my head. I was like, there's got to be some kind of super jump in this game because there's stuff that seems it's a little too tall for me. But I just didn't
There's both. There's the double jump and the super
and there
jump.
there was two. But
yeah,
it was not as difficult with two jumps the second time around, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. It's crazy. Once you get it, you're like, holy crap, how did I play this game without it? Jeez Louise. That's how it was in the first game too. Once you get first you get the dash first, and you're like, wow, this is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get the double jump, you're like, wow, I can literally go anywhere. This is amazing.
And then the dash can go through people at the very end, and you're like, my mind.
Oh, in Hollow Knight, yeah. I missed that.
I know.
I missed that in Silksong for sure.
I let you play so aggressively. It was so nice. I did want to ask, while we're kind of talking about map stuff, like when you think of Silksong, what comes into your mind? Like area-wise, what is this game to you?
Area-wise?
Yeah, like when you think about it, or like in a couple of weeks or months, or perhaps years when you think about it, where will your brain go on the map?
I think right now, for me, it's the Coral Halls is the first place my brain goes.
Yes.
Because the first time you get there, it's so impactful. Because you get there and it's empty until you get to the point where you hear Grandmother Silk scream or roar on top of the citadel, and then all the bugs come back to life.
Yeah, that's so cool.
and then the music too. Oh man, the music in that area is so good.
So
and
good.
just like the golden gilded architecture.
Yep.
It's really cool. But then also Greymore too, for some reason,
that
to me stands out.
I also wrote down Greymore.
Yeah, Greymore is a standout for me. The music I really liked, and I just like the overall aesthetic, like the giant windmills.
Yeah.
And like
birds.
Like the silk like raining down from the sky, birds. A lot of birds.
Yeah, the backgrounds there was very cool.
I don't know if they're actually birds because they're like bugs.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what bug they would be. They're obviously meant to be like birds, but they're bugs. Yeah. So
kind of like
I don't know what kind of bug they would be.
Kind of like a weird lake house aesthetic.
Yeah, and then I just like the dreary, like rainy atmosphere.
Yeah.
I always like that. It's got the inn, or what's that place called?
Halfway Home.
The Halfway Home.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite benches in the game.
I do love that bench.
Hang on this cozy little place. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then third, if I had to pick, would be Bellheart, the town.
Bellheart, yes.
The game has like 3 hub areas in it, but
it's big.
If I think the main hub area is meant to be like Bellheart.
Yeah, where you can have your own little house.
You have a house, yeah.
I do like the little house. The only one you didn't mention that I wrote down is I enjoyed the Mount Fay area a lot the first time I went through there. Going back, I did not enjoy it because I'm like, man, there's really only one way to get up there.
Yeah, there is. So if you miss something, you gotta go through all of it again.
But I really liked that first ascent. I thought that was cool. Not to say that I don't think about any of these other areas. It's such a like everywhere is so well done. And like everything is themed incredibly well. It's not even, there's hardly a reused asset in sight. You know, you walk into a new place and it's like completely unique.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they went crazy with the artwork on all of them.
That's so cool.
I will say, aside from the areas that I've mentioned, I will say a lot of them don't stand out to me as much as the first game's areas, though. That might just be nostalgia talking, just because I played the first game so much. But I think it's also the music. I think a lot of the music in this game, it's not bad by any means. It's great still. But it's a lot more like atmospheric, not as like melodic, if that makes sense.
No,
a lot of like droning notes.
I wanted to bring that very same point up, actually, is I feel like it almost feels linear, the music in this one, like in a weird way. Like Hollow Knight soundtrack, you could kind of just plunk on a bench and listen to it, and then you get like that ambiance. But I didn't really feel that in this one, and I just don't know what that is. And I've tried to re-listen to it on Spotify, and I can't that's like the best explanation I have.
Yeah, well, it's like I'll do the same thing, like listen to both albums.
Mm-hmm.
And in the first game, if I just have it on shuffle and I just let it roll, I can always be like, oh, this music's from this area. I instantly recognize it.
Yeah.
But then with Silksongs, like a song will come up and it's just like this really like, I guess atmospheric, like very simple, like background music. And I can't immediately tell, if at all, which area it's from.
Yeah.
I'm like, this music sounds familiar, but like, which area is it? I can't even tell.
Yes. Yes.
And I don't know. I don't have a good way of explaining it, but it's like not as iconic as the first soundtrack.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'll hum melodies from the first game soundtrack all the time to myself, like Green Path or the City of Tears. And there's some hummers in Silksong as well, for sure, but not as much, I feel like.
Yeah.
And that it could be the instrumentation, Christopher Larkin did a very different set of instrumentation for Silksong soundtrack.
Mm-hmm. And it does
I don't
give
know
Farloom like a totally unique like vibe to it. We didn't get like Hollow Knight soundtrack 2.
Yeah, and that's good.
Which is nice, yeah.
That is good. I think, I don't know if this is even true anymore, but I remember reading years ago when they first like released tidbits of the soundtrack that like the soundtrack focused more on strings, whereas the first game did a lot more piano. I could be wrong on that. But it would make sense because, you know, strings and silk spiders. If that is the case.
A strong and intentional focus on strings throughout its 53 tracks.
There you go. So I don't know if the different focus on that makes it harder to make them more memorable, I guess.
Right.
I don't know. Again, it's not bad, and I listen to the soundtrack a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like in my Spotify Wrapped this year, one of the top albums was Silksong's. So.
Nice.
So I still listen to it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good, and it comes through at the right moments. I loved the all the bosses.
Oh yeah, all the bosses have great
So
themes.
good. Which you'd
Like
hope
the
so.
Last Judge.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. You'd hope so.
One of my favorites is it's a track called "The Red Maiden." I think it only plays once, as far as I'm aware, and it's in the slab when Hornet is naked.
I never played that, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, you told me you missed that.
I missed
which
it.
is fun. It's really unfortunate that you can miss that because that's one of the best parts of the game. But it's when you get, because you lose all your stuff in the slab when they capture you, and Hornet is naked.
Yeah.
And one of the guards, the jail guards, is like wearing Hornet's cloak and playing around with her stuff.
That's
And she drops down from the ceiling and breaks his neck and takes her stuff back.
Man.
And then you fight a bunch of enemies, and then this song plays during that, and it's one of my favorites just because it's the only song in the soundtrack that has tidbits of Hornet's theme from the first game.
Oh.
Gives you little snippets of it, and I really like that.
Huh. Yeah, I need to like that. I kept when I was playing it. That was always in the back of my head because I had seen like thumbnails and like memes where it's like, oh, I lost my cloak. So I'm like in the back of my head going through the game. I'm like, when is that going to happen to me? And then it just like never did.
Oh man!
And I'm like, what?
Dude, it was great. It was great when it happened. It was the whole good grief, she's naked.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like there's so much, fan art of Hornet drawing Hornet a certain way, if you catch my drift.
Yeah.
But in reality, in canon, she's just like a stick figure.
Just a stick bug, man.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, it's a great sequence in the game. It's a little tough because you have to fight enemies with just she throws hands with them.
Oh yeah, like kicking and
You don't have your tools. Yeah, you kick and punch them, which is really funny.
Yeah. I don't even know.
It's a great sequence.
I don't even know how I missed it. Like I said, I'm not like a god tier gamer or anything. So,
No, I think it's literally just
like,
if you get into the slab without getting caught by those cage guys, I think it just skips the whole thing.
whole thing.
Which is unfortunate.
I'm sure the cog flies probably killed him. I probably hid in a corner while the cog flies killed him. Honestly.
Yeah, cog flies are goated.
Cog
Yeah.
flies. Always was using them cog flies, bro.
Yeah, they're so good.
They're really good. And I guess, speaking of, I would use those cog flies. And long pins. I also like the long pins, even though you get them pretty early. But as soon as I got the Pollet pouch, that was it. That was my kit. Oh yeah, the Druid's Eyes. Cog flies, poisonous cog flies, poisonous long pins, and then faster silk generation. That was pretty much what I ran with most of the game. As far as my kit went.
For me, I'm trying to remember what I used. Oh, I liked I can't remember what they're called, but they're the little shard bundles that Hornet used in the first game in her boss fights that like explode when the enemies get near them.
The Sting Shard?
They're like little... Is that what it's called?
Is that the one that...
It's like the trap you throw down in the air.
Yeah, the strings in the air.
Okay, yeah. I liked that one.
Yeah.
I liked the rings. The rings are underrated.
The throwing rings? Yeah.
The throwing rings? Yeah.
From Shankra.
I found... Yes. Pashanka.
Shankra.
I found it really late, but I like the Silk Shot. The Silk Shot seemed like it was good. I didn't really get much of a chance to use it.
I thought that was funny. Gun.
I like the Buzzsaw. That's Hornet taking after her dad with the Buzzsaw.
Oh.
He's throwing it at people.
Oh.
The Cogflies, obviously.
Yeah.
The Rosary Cannon is really funny.
Yeah. I love the Volt vessels, man. Those were crazy.
Oh, the electric ones?
Yeah, the explosive, like, electric ones that has just a column of death.
Yeah, those are cool. The area where you get them is really cool, too.
Yeah, I like that place.
And then the Flea Brew, dude, that carried me through the early game, was the Flea Brew.
I wanted to use that more, but every time I would, like, lose my focus. I would just be like...
That's fair.
Like, okay, I gotta lock in. I'm drinking this Flea Brew, and then I'd lock in and I'd die. I think I'd lock in, I guess.
And then in the really hard platforming sections, the Plasmium file.
Yes.
Did me good on those.
You know where I really...
And that was...
No, you keep going. Sorry.
It was a really cool callback to Lifeblood.
Yes.
In the first game.
Yes. I was gonna say...
That's some cool lore stuff there.
Yeah. I love that lore stuff. But what I found was fun with the consumable stuff, like the Plasmium file is in the dream sequences later in the game. Because it's in a dream, it doesn't physically actually use the
shards.
Yeah, it doesn't use shards, and it doesn't use your brew or your files or anything. It just, if you fail the fight or win the fight, it doesn't use your inventory's worth of stuff. So that carried me through... The Plasmium files carried me through Carmelita.
Ooh, what a fight. What a fight.
That's
a good
skin
one.
of my teeth, Cogflies, and Plasmium files. Just constantly.
Help me!
Well,
help!
Well, and the other one, and this kind of leads into the tools. Yeah, so that I would switch. I switched off to the memory crystal at some point because I'm like, this lady is just gonna keep killing me and dealing damage to me. So I had the memory crystals going off, leaving behind all the, crystal clones, killing her that way. Had the Cogflies going. I would get in a few hits when it was during an attack sequence that I had memorized. Then run around. Really hard fight.
I never even used the memory crystal. I forgot that one existed.
Oh, they deal so much damage too. It's crazy. So when you're leaving like a ton around, and I had the Druid's Eyes, because that's like gets your silk regeneration going. It's pretty nice. Pretty nice.
Oh yeah.
So that was a really, when I was in a tough spot, that's how I would be, is just running around.
That's cool.
Clone crystals.
I'm kind of lame, and I just kind of used a lot of the same ones the whole game. That's just how I play game. I do that in Souls games, dude. Once I find a weapon I like, I just stick
Same way.
But I had the Fractured Mask on the entire game. I just thought that was so good because it eats a whole hit. It doesn't take 2 masks off you. It'll just take the Fractured Mask. I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
Long Claw was nice, just for extra range if you're using like the Wanderer's Crest.
Mm-hmm.
Then I liked the Wispfire Lantern too, but the only problem is that it takes silk.
Yeah, I loved that because it was like free Cogflies, and then I was like, wait, I need that silk.
Yeah, the Cogflies are actually just better, I think, because they do pretty much the same thing, but without taking silk.
Yeah.
Especially if you're using the Architect Crest, because then you can just make more of the flies.
Yes. So What crests did you go towards then?
I ended up using the Reaper crest most of the game. I kind of regret it though.
Same, brother.
I wish I would have experimented more because the Reaper crest had good range. But it's so slow.
Yeah, it was slow.
And like the upside is like you get extra silk when you after you bind and heal, hitting the enemies makes them put little silk balls in the air that you can pick up.
Mm-hmm.
But like those balls didn't give you a ton of silk at all anyway.
No.
So like it would have been better to just use like the Wanderer's Crest and just hit them more.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, my experience with the crests was I would pick up a new one and I would go, ooh, and then I'm like experiment with the move set. And then it would come time to do the diagonal pogo and I would just die because of that. I'd swap back to Reaper because I'm like, well, this is the one with the pogo that makes sense to me, and I'd use that until I found another crest and pretty much rinse and repeat.
Although the Wanderer Pogo is good too. It's basically just the whole Wanderer moveset is basically just the first game's moveset.
Yes.
Which is nice.
Yes.
But it's very short range. It's the downside.
Yeah, so you need that tool.
Yeah. Another issue, I just liked the Reaper Crest's tool slots the best. The colors it had.
It was balanced. Very balanced.
Yeah, I liked having a little bit of everything. Like, I really liked the Witch Crest's moveset. But, like, the slots, I'm like, I just don't like there's only, like, one yellow or something, I think, on it.
There's 0 yellows on the Witch Crest.
Oh, yeah, see, no, dude, like, I need my compass equipped at all times,
right?
Bro.
Same. Same. And I thought the same
thing, I can't do that.
I was like, man, Witch is cool, because the movesets get, like...
The moveset's cool. But the slots, icky
slots.
I mean, I guess you get the Vesta Crest, which kind of helps mitigate that.
Mm-hmm.
The extra slots from Ava.
Yeah,
but it's only like one, I think. So one yellow.
You get your one compass slot. That's it.
I'm just mad that they made the compass an equipable thing at all in this game. I wish they would have just let us have it.
Yeah, I did not unequip it the whole game. I think there was a couple bosses, and because the yellows really are not like super helpful.
The yellows, I mean, the magnetite brooch is nice for getting money.
Yeah, I did run that most of the game.
Oh, but no, one of the best though is a yellow, and it's the dice. I got saved by the dice a lot.
Magnetite dice. What did it do? What does it do?
You don't know what they do. Oh, okay. So the dice. I don't know what
damage.
Yeah, I don't know what the chance is, but you have a chance to just completely negate a hit.
Oh.
Average block chance is 7.79%. Yeah, so...
Do you get this if you just keep gambling with that little dude?
There's a few ways to get it.
Oh.
Yeah, here. So if in Act 1, if you beat him 10 times, he'll give them to you. If you just wait till Act 2, he dies.
Oh,
you can just get him then. And then in Act 3, you can just buy him.
Dang.
If you missed it.
So I missed it, so I'd have to buy him in that save file. Okay. Yeah, that sounds actually extremely good. What the heck?
It is really good.
Randomly not take damage. I could have used that.
It's very good.
I could have used that.
The Ascendant script, like the climbing pike, is also good for those climbing parkour sections.
I didn't even experiment with that.
It just lets you hang on the wall without sliding, which is nice. And then during the Rasher quest, I used the Silk Speed anklets.
Yeah, same.
To run faster.
Same.
So they have their uses.
They do. Maybe next playthrough I gotta be more.
So that's why I wanted more yellows. I think I would have used the Witch Crest if I had a yellow, even just one yellow slot. You don't need 3 blues. You can take one, make it a yellow. Come on.
Nah, you don't need that many blues.
Although generally the blues are the best. I think the best ones.
They are nice. They're nice to have. That's where most of my kit I felt was. Probably because that's the only stuff that I found that was really good.
Yeah. And then I never really experimented with the Architect crest, but I know it's like the most broken one in the game.
That's the one that...
That's what all the speedrunners use.
Oh. Right, and this is the one that does stuff with the tools.
It lets you make tools on the fly, yeah. And lets you equip 3 tools, which is pretty nutty.
Wow. And the speedrunners use this. Probably because the tools deal like mega damage.
Yeah, if you have the right build, they do a lot of damage. You can just melt bosses with them. I think because the Architect Crest, it's booty for platforming because the down attack is awful. It's definitely the worst one. They use it for the bosses. I'm not sure what they use for the platforming. Probably just like Wanderer or something. And then I never even messed around with the Shaman one. That one just seemed whatever.
I liked it when I picked it up, and then I realized, wow, this has no slots.
It has no slots. No tools.
0 slots. I'm good.
It's all silk skills, which could be an interesting build to try out on a run.
Yeah, right.
But you only get it in Act 3, so
it's kind of
can't really do it.
Kind of too late by that point.
Yeah,
I'm stuck in my ways.
And I know the Hunter's Crest is also very good once you evolve it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just that diagonal pogo, dude.
That diagonal.
I can't deal with it.
So hard. Ugh. I wish I was better at it. And maybe if I stuck with it, but like even in the very beginning with that diagonal pogo, trying to go through what is it like? Is it the marrow where it has you bounce off those little red balloons?
I think that's the first area with them, yeah.
Yeah. I was dying there and I'm like, I'm gonna lose all my rosaries because I can't jump in this game. I can't even get to my freaking cocoon.
It is rough for sure, but I'm sure I could get used to it if I just force myself to learn it.
Right. Next playthrough, right? Next playthrough.
Yeah. I will do another playthrough eventually, and I'll do something different. Oh, I forgot about the Beast Crest, too.
Beast.
That one is just whatever. It also has an awful pogo.
Oh,
and the binding skill on it is just kind of whatever. It just lets you lifesteal, but because it doesn't heal on its own, you have to
you have to
hit stuff to heal off of it.
You have to actually be good.
Yeah, I don't know. I got the Witch Crest too. Another downside is that its heal is bad too, because it to heal it shoots out these tentacles, and you have to hit stuff with the tentacles.
Yeah, you have to be really
heal
quite close. It does heal a significant amount. I think more than usual, right?
I don't actually know.
33% faster than the Hunter Crest bind. Each root thrash heals 1 mask.
Oh, so you could potentially heal less.
Yep. If they do not hit an enemy, Hornet does not heal.
Forget that, man.
Yeah, it's kind of sucks. I suck. It's probably good if you're good.
I'm too bad to use it. Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm way bad to use it. Yeah, so I pretty much I had one build. It was Reaper. It was Cogflies. I swapped almost nothing. I knew what worked for me.
Yep. That's pretty similar to me as well.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a silk skill you liked?
Oh yeah, silk skill
over the others.
I really liked, and then when I finally picked up the cross stitch, which was the counter move, I loved using that because I was like, finally some kind of control on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Yes. I can panic and push this button if I think I've made a mistake, and it may work. Some bosses it didn't work on though, which I thought was annoying. So I
could see it not working. Yeah.
Yeah. So I used Silk Spear a lot because that was just easy, And
Yeah, Silk Spear is not bad.
I did like Rune Rage though, because it was just cool.
Yeah.
From
the sharp dart is kind of nice. Lets you reposition if you need it.
yeah.
The dash.
Yeah, big dash.
And I only used it a few times, but I kind of liked the last one you get, the Pale Nails. That one was neat.
I might not have picked this one up. Or no, wait.
I wouldn't blame you if you didn't. It's kind of out of the way.
Location in the cradle. Binding
You go in Act
Grandmother
3.
Silk's severed arm. Spoilers.
Yeah. In Act 3, you go back to the cradle and you find her arm.
Oh.
And you get the Pale Nails.
That would be cool.
Which lets you use one of her kind of one of her moves. It's like the Glitstone blades in Elden Ring. It just summons like 3 of them above your head and they shoot automatically at an enemy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Pale Nail.
I didn't get to use them a lot, but they were kind of neat. I think I only used them against the final boss, basically.
Final boss.
They did all right.
I like the bosses. I liked all the bosses. All of them but 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say even Grohl.
No. I'm pretty sure
You love him.
I think my favorite boss was definitely Trobio.
Yeah, Trovio. Trovio's good.
He's so fun. It was so fun to memorize his little moveset.
He was a little overwhelming. He has so much stuff flying on the screen at you.
Yeah, the freaking orbs and the fireworks.
And the fireworks.
And then the second, like when you get him down enough, more fireworks.
Even more. Then you fight his depressed form.
Yeah.
In Act 3.
Yeah, that one was tough. I remember that being tough for me.
Yeah. But it was fun. I couldn't stay mad at him.
No, he's too funny.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah. I also really liked... we already talked about Last Judge being really fun, but I thought Lace was also designed really well.
Yeah, she was.
Super... Like, good telegraphs. Like, really fun to... Like, dance and weave around her attack patterns and stuff. Super nice. And Cogwork Dancers were super, like, easy, but I was like, what a unique little fight. Just...
Yeah, everyone loves that one. But yeah, it was very easy. That was a one-time one for sure.
Yeah. A couple of them are easy. I think a lot of early bosses I did not spend that much time on. I was very surprised.
I'm trying to remember if I really struggled. What was the first one I struggled with?
Yes. What is the first
I didn't
boss
particularly struggle with a lot of them, surprisingly. It was mostly just getting around the areas I had trouble with the most.
Mm-hmm.
But there were a few for sure, like obviously Grohl.
Yeah.
Until you figure out what to do against him.
Darn Grohl.
Who else did I get stuck on, man? I can't remember. I'm drawing a blank. Oh, the first sinner. That took me a while to beat. But dying to her spawns you right outside of her room, so
yeah,
it wasn't really like a run back or anything.
Yeah, that was nice.
Which is nice.
Mm-hmm. What about
Carmelita? Carmelita was a big one that I got stuck on.
That one took I'm pretty sure I was spent at least 3 whole hours of my life doing that one.
But she's one of my favorites, though. I love that fight. Holy crap! What a cool fight.
It's a great fight. Awesome scenery.
The only bad part is that you have to go through the freaking gauntlet every time.
Every time.
I don't like that. Like, just let me fight the boss.
Yeah. Yeah, that started getting way annoying after a while. And that's probably why I spent so long, because it's hard to, like, internalize in my mind the moves that she has. And even when I was, like, sitting there, like, studying her as hard as I could, she does not telegraph super well. Because she's got a couple moves that can spawn off of a couple animations.
Yeah, and she gets faster, too, as the fight goes on.
Yeah. Ruins.
Which is fun. For me, her getting faster made her first phase seem like much slower by comparison.
Mm-hmm.
and that helped me learn her, because it's all the same attacks. She just gets faster, I think. So that helped me learn what the tells were, and I was able to not necessarily tells. I just kind of played around what she could do.
Yeah.
I would try and space myself out so I could dodge whatever move she threw out.
Yeah, I think out of all of the secrets you could spill on how to beat her, the biggest one is just to keep your distance.
Yeah, keep your distance and wait. You can only get like one hit in at a time.
Yep. Don't be greedy.
That's basically what you got to do. Yeah.
Don't be greedy. That's why
make sure you have nail upgrades.
Yeah, all the nail upgrades. All the nail upgrades. And I think Reaper really helped me with her, because when she would catch her breath, I guess, I would heal, and then I would spawn in a buttload of those little silk balls from whacking her. That helps.
Yeah, well, what a great fight. Great music.
Yes.
Great setting.
Yeah.
You feel bad for killing her.
You really do.
And I really like how because her fight is in a memory of the past. You're fighting her in her prime. In the present, she's like an old, decrepit woman. What, ant woman.
Decrepit ant woman.
As Mossbag says, she's around 28 or 29 years old. Crap, what was I just lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
Old decrepit from the
she's a memory.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like how as you're going into the memory, Carmelita in the present, she's like, Hornet's like, hey, I need your heart for this thing that I'm doing to save the kingdom, and she's like, I mean, you can try and like go in and kill me in my prime, but like I don't think you'll be able to do it. She's like, I was the big cheese back then, man. Like,
yeah,
you can try.
You can try.
Yeah, I like that part.
Yeah, that's a cool part.
One boss that everybody loves to bring up that I didn't think was that bad, at least one version of it, was the Savage Beast Fly.
Yeah.
The first time you fight it in the temple is not that bad.
No, it's a little overwhelming because he's got like a little couple of guys that come in, but his moveset is so simple. He
only does like 3 moves.
Yeah.
And he can kill his own little dudes that he spawns in. If you like bait him into hitting them, he'll kill them for you.
Yeah.
Not that bad. The second time you fight him though, that's a different story.
I did not like that second time. I think I did struggle for a bit. And it wasn't from
that one took me a few tries.
It wasn't from him in particular, it was the bugs that were shooting lava out of their mouths that I was like, oh my gosh.
Those guys are the worst, bro.
So evil.
Because those guys, they show up in that one gauntlet that you have to do. Or it's optional, but it's that one gauntlet underground where you go down this big hole.
Yep.
And then at the bottom, and then the floor disappears. Yeah. You have to fight them without a floor.
That was evil.
Oh my gosh.
That was evil.
That was one of the hardest things in the game for me, was that part. I'm like, what? I can't. These guys, they fly away from me. Their things do 2 damage. I don't have a floor.
Yep, no floor with that.
What am I supposed to do?
Dude, that was insane. That was crazy. Cog flies all the way. It just kept sending cog flies.
I don't know how I would do that without the cog flies.
Like, really though.
Straight up.
There's just no, unless you can. I mean, you can't dash through them with that skill, right?
You can, but then you run the risk of falling into the lava after.
Gosh. Yes.
And their projectiles like shoot and stick into the wall too. So even if they miss you, if you hang on the wall too long, it'll just explode and hit you anyway.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Yeah, that was awful.
So that's what makes that second Beastfly fight the worst, because of those guys.
Yep, 100%.
It's not even because of him.
And speaking of those lava guys, they show up in the Four Brothers fight too, with the Cygnus and Gron.
The Forge Brothers? Those guys didn't give me too much trouble. But yeah, they do show up.
I had a little trouble
in that fight.
I was like, how am I supposed to dodge 2 guys that are really good?
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. That fight just made sense to me, I guess. It didn't give me too much trouble. Because again, they each only have like 2 things they do. You just got to keep track of what they're doing.
Yeah. I wasn't locked
Just
in.
it's another Ornstein and Smo situation.
Now, every time I would get like super frustrated, I have a meme in the show notes. Anytime I'd get really frustrated, I'd just be like, well, I'm taking a break from this, and I'd play some other game. Which one of
the difficulty enjoyer.
the difficulty.
Excuse me, the difficulty enjoyer meme. Yeah,
you should really take a break. Come back to it later. Maybe if you took a break, you might have more fun. We'll take a break and come back to it later. Yeah, I got stuck there too. Had to take a couple of breaks. Spends his free time taking a break from his hobby. Personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with the difficulty. No.
He's so me.
I love not playing games. Number 1 break taker 2025.
I mean, he's right.
He's so right, man.
He's right though.
And that's really like,
just take a break.
There is just something to it. There's something to it where you take a break and you come back and it's like my mind could just comprehend stuff way better.
Your mind processes it.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I watch a lot of playthroughs of like Souls games and stuff. I can't even tell you how many times the person I'm watching, they get stuck on a boss like the Orphan of Kaz or like Radon or something. And then they take a break, they come back, and they're like, oh hey, I beat it first try. Look at that. It's like it's like your brain needs time to like internalize everything and I don't know, like just learn things, you know?
It's true. It's true. I think to that end, I'm pretty sure Grohl the Great, I beat him over like 2 or 3 different play sessions.
Dang, that's a lot.
And I play it for.
Unfortunately, with him, there's not much to learn with Grohl. It's just kind of like,
yeah,
because you're fighting everything in that fight. You're fighting him, you're fighting the area itself, you're fighting his little goons.
Yep. It's just a lot going on.
Yep. But then you have to embrace the muck. That's the secret. Like, people call it poison, the maggots. They call it like the poison, but it's not poison because it doesn't hurt you. It just stops you from healing.
Yep.
So if you just accept it and just jump in, you're like, all right, I'm gonna get maggots on me, whatever. You jump in. Grohl doesn't have any attacks that attack straight down. So if you just stay underneath him, you just stay in the muck right underneath him, he can't hit you.
Wow, what a secret.
That's what I did. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get this stuff on me anyway. I'm just gonna jump in, and I'm just gonna hit him from right below him, and he couldn't hit me.
Huh. The more you know. The more you know.
Yeah. That's all it takes. That's the secret right there, man.
The secret to Grohl.
When I play the game again, that's what I'm gonna do immediately. I'm gonna jump in the muck.
Jumping in the muck. No, that is.
But like, yeah, if you don't realize that, yeah, it's the worst thing in the world. He's awful.
Indeed. Yeah, that was not a good one.
This is unfortunate because his lore is cool.
Yeah,
and you're kind of meant to feel a little bad for him and his goons, but
yeah,
not after what they did to me. I don't.
Yeah, right.
I think they deserve what they got.
I'm pretty sure I thought that same thing. I finally listened through that Mossbag video that you sent of the somewhat complete lore of Silksong. I'm pretty sure that's what I thought when he got to that point. I was like, man, not after what you did to me. I'm not gonna feel bad for you.
I'm not gonna feel bad for you after what you did. No thanks.
Yeah.
It is cool. He has the fireball move from the first game. That's really cool.
Yeah.
He's using soul.
Yeah.
He's like the only character you see using soul in the game.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. It was cool.
So, I mean, that's cool at least, I guess.
Oh, Seth. I had fun defeating Seth, but he was difficult for me for a minute. I like him.
Seth, he's a tough fight, but yeah, he is a fair fight. He doesn't have any like tricks or ganks. It's just mano y mano.
Straight up.
Fighting him.
Just straight up. He's cool.
Cool. And everybody knows he's the character that the Make-A-Wish kid sent into Team Cherry, or was he Make-A-Wish? I don't remember.
Oh.
But it was a sick kid sent in his character to Team Cherry, and they put him in the game, and he unfortunately passed away before the game came out, I think.
No. That would suck. To be Team Cherry.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Very sad. But he lives on now in the game as one of the better bosses.
Yeah.
And then after you beat him, he goes and lives with the fleas.
Oh.
Which is very nice.
I love that little fleas. The flea camp, the flea festival. All the flea stuff.
The fleas are great.
Like little dogs.
I like how you find the one big flea and you have to fight it before it goes back.
Yes. Yeah, I loved that.
Oh, related to the fleas, something funny we learn about Hornet in this game is that she loves fluffy things. She loves fluffy bugs.
Really?
And so that's probably why she likes helping the fleas so much, because they're really fluffy. In the hunter's journal, every time a bug is like fluffy, she always brings it up. She's like, "Oh, it's so fluffy, but its spines prevent me from touching it," or something like that.
I did not know that.
So she likes fluffy things.
I like that.
It's cute.
That is cute. I like that.
That is something too. I like how they kept Hornet's character in the game. Like, she spoke in the first game, so it makes sense that she speaks in this game, which is another big difference from the original.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I liked the story in this one. I thought the story was great.
Oh yeah, it's great. It feels very self-contained until Act 3.
Yeah. Yeah, Act 3 kind of blows the doors off. But it's like it's good. It's good. And I felt that I didn't have to go and listen to the lore video to kind of get what was going on. It was kind of apparent on a surface level, which I like. And then I love how deep it goes too, though.
Yeah.
So
it has a very linear, or not a very, but a more linear story than the first game.
Yeah.
The first game was more like an Elden Ring or whatever situation where it doesn't tell you much. You just kind of have to infer things.
Yeah, you're just kind of plopped down in there. But yeah, there was a very linear vibe to it, even though there was, like, you pick up quests in the little towns in Silksong and you do them, and even though that there is like some freedom to do whatever of those you want, it does still kind of have that linear, like, main quest that it wants you to do at all times.
Yeah. Which is cool.
Yeah.
It worked for this game.
Yeah, I liked it.
I liked the side quests. And you get some really good rewards for doing them.
Yes.
So it's worth doing.
Yes, I still have maybe one or two I need to complete for 100% completion. Or no, did I? I might have actually done them all.
You need to do a lot of them that's how you unlock Act 3 apparently, is by doing all the quest board stuff up until the end of Act 2.
Yep. And I had to go back and I had to make sure I did some from, what area was I in? The ones that are in that area, Songclave, those ones are really important to make sure you have them all done.
Yep. Mm-hmm. The most memorable side quest to me was the one in Songclave where Sherma goes to the White Ward. I remember seeing that and I was like,
yeah,
no,
right,
no. I instantly ran there. I was like, Team Cherry, you wouldn't do this to me. You wouldn't kill him.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way.
You can't.
No, you can't do that to Sherma.
And thankfully they didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't. You saved Sherma.
You save him. He's like, well, I'm gonna go back, and she's like, hey, do you need some help to get back? And he's like, nope. And I was like, are you sure about that?
Are you sure?
I could go with you. I'm not doing anything right now.
Yeah, it was extra funny because I had already explored Whiteward before that, so I knew what was down there. So I was like, no, anywhere but there.
It's a really scary place. Perhaps the scariest.
It is. It's a creepy place.
Yeah. They're ripping out the souls.
I don't know.
Deep
I don't know
lore.
if that's what they were doing there. I think they were. They were forcing out or forcing in silk from bugs.
I think yes, both. They're forcing it out and then recovering it on death. That's what it is.
Yeah, because we learn in this game that silk is kind of like the physical manifestation of soul, and only certain bugs can make it, or something like that. I don't fully understand it quite yet.
Need some more moss bag in my brain.
Yeah.
No.
And then I think it's cool too how the only real reference to the original game that you get in the first couple acts is, I think it's Widow. Yeah, Widow is the first one to call Hornet a child of Worm and Weaver.
Yes.
And that's the first mention of Worm, which was the Pale King in the first game. And when she said that, I pointed at the screen and I made the soy jack face. And I was like, oh, I know what that means.
He's a lore scholar. He knows.
I know. and then the whole thing of Grandmother Silk being a higher being and a pale being too.
Yeah.
We get a lot of lore about the pale beings in this game.
Yeah, there's quite a bit.
Which is pretty cool too.
Yeah, I'm glad it does intersect with a lot of the stuff that we learn about from Hollow Knight. Same world.
Yeah, definitely the same world. And then there's the whole thing with Lifeblood, which was very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they call it Plasmium in Farloom. But then, over the course of the game, you see why the Pale King banned the use of Lifeblood. You can see why, eventually.
Yep.
Because it, like everything in this world, apparently, it just infects bugs and turns them into the husks. There's like 3 things that do that now.
These bugs are having a really hard time, man.
Yeah, they have it rough.
They do. They just need a happy ending.
What else?
Where's the happy ending fluid?
Well, there's kind of a happy ending in this game.
There is.
A little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. All possible because of the night. Stopping by.
Yeah. Yeah. Big spoilers, I guess.
Big spoilers.
For Act 3. Yeah. The biggest tie-in, of course, is the Void.
Mm-hmm.
The Void being present in Farloom as well. Which opens up a whole can of worms. Because remnants of the ancient civilization that worshipped the Void, that was in Hollow Nest, is also in Farloom. And then there's some lines that Hornet says that kind of implies that the Void is just everywhere if you just dig down deep enough.
Right.
So it's just like everywhere, which is an interesting implication. And then at the very end, the Knight is he's one with the Void, and as the other vessels are too, and they save Hornet and Lace in the end, which also made me soy jack very hard at the screen.
I did the same thing. I was like, oh,
that's my boy.
Wait a minute.
That's my boy right there.
Wait a minute.
Which is very cool because it means that they still exist. They're still separate entities from the Void, even though they're merged with it still.
Yeah, that is
very cool.
That is a cool revelation.
We don't see the Hollow Knight among them.
True.
Which I think they did that on purpose because it's still kind of ambiguous which ending of Hollow Knight is the canon one.
Right.
Because there's the Dream No More ending, which ends with all the vessels, the Hollow Knight included, killing the Radiants
Mm-hmm.
But then there's the Godmaster ending, which ends with the knight turning into the Shade Lord, which is the giant void monster,
Right.
and killing the Radiants in Godhome. But then the Hollow Knight doesn't join them. He's free from the Radiants, and he exits the Temple of the Black Egg, and Hornet runs into him. So we don't know which ending is canon. It's kind of like they flash the Shade Lord at the end there when the Knight shows it. They flash it just to throw us off. Just be like, oh, which one's canon? We don't know. Yeah, maybe some DLC will clarify that.
Yeah,
we'll have to wait and see.
DLC. What would I even want from a DLC with this game? That is the question. The map.
Bring back the Grim Troop.
Ooh.
I want the Grim Troop.
I mean, they're traveling. They travel. They're a traveling troop.
Grim is my favorite character from the first game. He's my favorite boss.
He's so fun. He's such a fun boss.
Yeah, I guess it wouldn't be Grim himself anymore, but maybe the Grim child is grown up by this point, and it's just another Grim.
That would be so cool.
I've seen some people say they want the third game to be the game where you play as the Grim child, which I also would not be opposed to. That would be freaking sick.
Yeah, are we thinking that?
But
in another 10 years or something, right?
Yeah, we don't even know if there's going to be a third game.
I mean, they have the money to
indication
just
of that.
retire immediately.
They straight up could probably just retire if they wanted to. Just not.
They just been eating sandwiches and working in a single room for years. They've been frugal, dude. They don't need nothing.
You guys can just go hang out on the beach.
Jeez.
But yeah, I'd love to see the Grim Troop in a DLC.
Yes.
Obviously, it'd be really cool to see new stuff as well. Whatever new crazy stuff they think up. I think it's a safe bet to assume we'll get some sort of boss rush mode again, like the Godmaster.
Yeah.
DLC. Maybe it'll be the Godmasters again. Maybe they'll show up again, and the Godseekers, excuse me.
Godseekers.
Maybe they'll show up in Farloom as well.
Yeah.
If they're not all dead from the Shade Lord, from the Godmaster ending in Hollow Knight.
Do we think they would release an easy mode for the complainers?
I don't think they will. See, the thing is,
here you guys go.
Easy mode is there if you know where to look. If you know where to go get all the really good tools right away, easy mode's already there. Like straight up. You can get so much good stuff just in Act 1. You just gotta know where to go.
Just like Elden Ring.
It is just like Elden Ring. Although every time I try to replay Elden Ring, I always end up stopping because that game's so big.
It is massive.
And it's just like, I don't want to do everything all over again. So
I don't blame you.
But that's another can of worms. But this game is very replayable, I think.
Oh yeah.
And there's stuff I missed. Like apparently you can fight Garmund and Zaza in Act 2.
In Act 2? I think I did.
Mm-hmm.
I think I did fight them.
You fight them just in that area to the right of Songclave, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to go there, and I didn't make it to that area before Act 3, so I missed out on fighting them.
I fought him. That was a good fight. And then I fought him again for sadness reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one that really did like punch my soul, punch my gut punch.
Yeah.
I was so sad about that.
Typical. That one's typical. That's like a Miyazaki move right there.
Right.
That's like what happened to Solaire in Dark Souls. Pretty similar thing.
That was so depressing for me. I think that one hit me. The game is sad, but that moment.
Yeah, because then Zaza goes and sits by him, and he won't
right
leave after that.
Oh my gosh.
So sad.
I was like, yeah. I was like, no. No.
I'm gonna kill myself.
Yep, I'm turning the game off. I don't want to think about this anymore. Oh,
That's probably the saddest one for sure.
yeah. Awful. Those freaking Australians,
But
man.
yeah, I think because I missed out fighting them in Act 2, I think I can't complete my Hunter's Journal now.
Oh, shoot.
I think. I don't know exactly how it works. They might be lenient with it. Because I didn't even try to finish the Hunter's Journal. Because it doesn't contribute to the 100% at all.
Oh, yeah. I remember reading something about that.
It's just for the achievement.
Ah.
But I was like, well, I think I missed this boss, so I don't think I can finish it.
Missable stuff.
So I'll have to do that on a second playthrough.
Yep, just gives you a reason to come back.
I don't think I will do a Steel Soul run of this game.
I know.
I think that's a little too much for me.
Yeah, I think that would be almost impossible for me. Like, there's just no chance that I wouldn't screw up at some point. Just.
I did attempt Steel Soul runs of the first game. I never beat it.
Oh.
I do want to go back and try and beat a Steel Soul run of the original, because that one feels doable. But in this game, no. It doesn't feel doable to me.
No.
People have done it, though.
Really?
Because there's an achievement to get 100% in Steel Soul mode.
Are they insane?
And
Why are they
people have
doing that? Why is that
I don't know.
Why is that an achievement?
It takes a special person to do that, man.
Dude, it takes a freaking game genius. Man. I'm sure it's possible. I could probably do it if I spent the rest of my life playing just this game.
Yeah. If you just get really good at this game.
Really good. Maybe the DLC will
That's
give
all it takes.
a broken tool or something.
Maybe.
New crest.
Maybe.
New something.
Oh, a new crest would be cool. I would like a new crest.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
Yeah.
We'll see what they do. It might even take another few years for them to do it.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, I'm interested on the timeline, because with Hollow Knight, they released the game and then the DLC came out not even like a year later. This game came out
The first one.
17.
What was the first update? Wasn't it like the Dreams update?
Yep, the Dreams update. Let's go back to the
Yeah.
page here.
Did that add all the Dream bosses at once, too?
Yeah.
If it did, that was a big update then.
Yeah, so Hollow Knight released February 24th, 2017. Hidden Dreams, August 3rd, 2017. So not even a year later. And then Grim Troop, October 26th, 2017. So just a couple months after that.
Holy crap.
Lifeblood, April 20th, 2018. So hardly 6 months, almost. A little over that. Then Godmaster, August 23rd, 2018.
It's like all within a year.
Yep.
Holy
And
crap.
the Void Heart Edition, September 25th, 2018.
The Void Heart, I think that's just
Which
the
is-
complete version of the game that has everything in it.
Yeah.
I think that's the version that came out on the Switch.
Yes.
If I remember right.
That's when I picked it up.
I played that game on the Switch first too as well.
Yeah.
And then I bought it on PC once I got my PC.
Same.
I do want to go back and play the first game again just to see like how much of a difference it is. playing
Right.
it. Maybe it's time to go back and do that Steel Soul
It
run
would be interesting.
just to see it.
And I kept having to remind myself, like, because the crests almost completely change how you play the game in Silksong. Like, it's almost like every crest could be a different character. Hollow Knight, you just got the knight, and you got your couple directions, you got your skills. The charms are kind of the big,
It's great.
the big thing there. Yeah, the simplicity is great.
It's a very interesting dichotomy between these games for me.
Yeah.
Because like, I still feel like the first game is like the perfect game to me.
100%.
Like, it's great. It's perfect. And Silksong, is very close to it, but I hesitate to say it's perfect because I think it does have some issues, just in the and mostly in balance.
Right.
Everything else is great.
Yeah, I think
It's just like the level, like it's brutal. It's brutal to you. It doesn't pull any punches.
it really doesn't.
And that's fine, because that's the kind of game they wanted to make. Apparently, is a really hard game,
and it is really hard.
But
it made me feel really cool when I beat it.
Yeah, once you beat it, you're like, holy, I did it.
Yes,
I did it.
It's like, holy crap, I actually did this. And like every hard boss that you beat is like, wow, wow.
I mean, that's why I play Souls games. So you're chasing that same high.
Yeah.
But, man. So, yeah, I hesitate. I feel like Silksong is as good of a game as the first game.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, the first game is just so well-rounded on everything. It does everything well. Whereas Silksong has a couple low points. And that's what keeps it from being on, like I don't know, like Hollow Knight's an S+, this is like an S- to me, if that makes sense.
No, I think I'd be in the same boat. It has some really good highs, and it goes toe to toe with those highs with Hollow Knight, but it definitely has way deeper lows than I ever had in Hollow Knight, even when I struggled the most there.
Yeah.
And it's not that we can't have hard games, but
Right.
I want a bone when I'm like at my lowest point instead of, I guess I'll try this combination of tools and charms, and hopefully this run back or this gauntlet before the boss will be okay enough for me to learn this. Like, there's a lot more that goes into overcoming the bosses here.
Yeah. You're not just fighting the bosses in this game. You're fighting the run back.
Mm-hmm.
You're fighting the area. You're fighting the enemies on the way back to the boss.
Yep.
You're fighting the goons the boss spawns on top of you while you're fighting him. Like, it's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot. So you can't just say just learn the boss on a lot of these, because it's not just the boss anymore.
Yeah.
That's the downside on all of these. Like, on a lot of these, I'm like, man, I just want to fight the boss,
Mm-hmm.
Like the Savage Beast Fly. Like, he doesn't need to summon goons. Just let me fight him.
Yeah.
Come on. Or like, freaking, who else?
That chef guy.
Who else did
The
that?
chef guy.
The chef, ass Jim. Because he throws his butt at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, same deal. Summons goons. Roll. Summons goons.
So many goons.
The unraveled boss in the White Ward summons goons.
Ugh.
Crawfather summons goons. Crust King Khan didn't summon goons, but you had to fight through like 4 waves of goons to get to him.
Yeah.
Like, just let me fight the boss, man. That's my biggest complaint with the game. Is just let me fight the boss.
Yep.
You don't need to throw a million guys at me at once.
Yeah.
And I get that Hornet has the potential to be a lot more broken than the Knight, because she has all these tools and crests and everything. But I feel like you could design the bosses in a way to compensate for that on their own, instead of having to rely on other outside factors.
Yeah.
Besides just them.
Yeah, it's that age-old, like, how do we make the game harder? Well, let's just increase the enemy quantity.
Yeah, that's never fun.
Yeah.
At least not in a game like this.
Yeah, in a game like this, I feel like, and especially because we've seen it in Hollow Knight be done.
Yeah. And that's why the best bosses in the game are bosses like Carmelita or Seth.
Mm-hmm.
I like Lace, because those are just pure
One-on-ones.
1v1s. Yeah.
Yep.
No gimmicks.
No gimmicks.
The first Sinner. Yeah. All good stuff there. It's just, it's a complicated thing.
It really.
And I think it's perfectly fine to say that you love the game and think it's, really good, but still being able to say that it has faults. Like, that's just that's what criticism is, You can still love something and criticize
exactly. Yeah. I still think, it's definitely like probably top 3 of the year that I've played.
It's my game of the year, and I played Expedition 33 and Donkey Kong. And then those are both great games too.
Yeah.
But this is my game of the year, and it's partially just because I waited so long for it. And Hollow Knight, I think the first game is still my favorite of the two,
Mm-hmm.
but that might change with time.
Yeah.
As I spend more time with this game.
Yeah, and I think, with the DLC they supposedly have cooking up too, that could change things too. For me.
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be more. And so, yeah. So, it's my game of the year. I love it. I think they did a great job with it.
Yeah, I think they came out firing all cylinders.
It met almost every expectation I had.
Yes, which I think is crazy. I had the same over here. Same.
Except Hornet does not say Shaw one time.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
So it's a 2 out of 10 for me. I'm sorry.
2 out of 10, no Shaw. Why? Why didn't they have her say Shaw?
I don't know, man. That was her thing.
What? My whole world is flipped.
She says a lot of stuff, but she doesn't say Shaw once.
Huh.
Even the knight got to say his iconic line of ...
Yeah. He really did. What the heck?
But you know what? Maybe I can forgive it, because then we get like Trobio. We get Chakra and all her lines.
Sherma.
So
Sherma's best.
Sherma's singing top tier.
I'm pretty sure he's my favorite little guy.
He's like everybody's favorite, yeah. And he's great. He had the potential to be a really an annoying, side character, but no, he's one of the best.
Mm-hmm. One of the best.
But all the NPCs are great. I can't think of one that I don't like.
Yeah, I like
even the little thief bug. What's his name?
Grindel.
Yeah, Grindel. Yeah, I like him too. Just because he's funny.
Yeah, he is a funny guy. Though I do not like his siblings that rob me.
His friends. Yeah.
Not a fan of getting robbed.
Yeah, they literally rob you.
Not my favorite.
And yeah, I like all the NPCs in Bone Bottom and Bellheart.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's all good.
It really is. Even with a few gripes, it's just crazy that they're able to make such a good, game. I'm just glad it's a good game.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm glad they know. Glad they know.
Well, yeah. Well, is there anything else that we haven't talked about yet?
I don't know, man. I think we've pretty much covered everything.
We didn't go super deep into the lore, but that's fine. Because we still don't know everything anyway.
Mouse Bag is good for that.
Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is seeing that all those the Chapel Maid and the Songclave guy, they ended up being snail shamans. That was a big thing for me.
Oh yeah, the snail shamans.
That was another Soy Jack moment. I was like, they were snail shamans. Holy crap.
I didn't even...
I know what that means.
I did not know what that means.
You don't remember the snail shamans from the first game?
I don't remember them. Let me see.
One of them is the guy that gives you the fireball move. The Vengeful Spirit.
Oh.
and then you find their bodies all over the place, and that's how you get your spell upgrades.
Oh. Maybe if I had replayed Hollow Knight a little closer.
That's right. I don't blame you for not.
Or listen to more Mossbag. I probably should have done that.
Yeah, you're not a Mossbag, top 1% Mossbag viewer, I guess.
So it was in your
Shame
your
on
YouTube
you.
Wrapped.
Is that a thing?
Apparently that's a thing that I've seen. I haven't watched mine, but
I didn't even look. I didn't even see. But I didn't look at it if that is a thing. They're all copying Spotify now. I saw Discord had one.
Yeah.
But I didn't look at it.
I'm
like, I'm not looking at that,
I
dude.
have a lot of my,
I don't want to see what I've done on Discord.
I have a lot of my personal data turned off, so it's like, you spent 0 minutes in voice. It's like,
yep, that's right.
Correct.
That's exactly right.
Oh.
I hope I have that stuff turned off. I don't actually know.
Oh, here's the YouTube one. Wow. I explored many things this year. Exploring video games, #1.
Exploring video games.
My top channel is second mine. My own YouTube channel is my second most watched channel.
Wow.
Amazing. I'm such a
self-absorbed much
evil
Dang.
person.
Just I just love watching my own videos.
I love it.
I love it. I love hearing myself talk.
I really don't. It's kind of a problem.
I actually don't want to know what my top channel was this year. I don't want to know that stuff. Because I spend too much time on YouTube as it is. I don't want to know what I'm wasting my life to.
Yeah. Don't waste your life. Gamble it like me. Do content creation.
Gambling. I do love gambling.
I really love
gambling.
They should add gambling to the next DLC for Silksong, I think.
I mean, I think that one dice, the guy you get the dice from,
actually,
that's kind of a gambling game.
I should do that more. I should. Yeah.
And then you get the dice, which is like the best item in the game.
Yeah. I can't believe I missed that. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I think we covered it all, though. One
final thought on the lore that I have. One final. The nameless town that's on top of Farloom, I think is... Did you make it to that area?
No.
It's like one of the hard platforming sections. You didn't make it?
Wait.
Okay.
What?
You have to make it up there to finish the Mr. Mushroom quest. Did you finish that quest?
I did not finish the Mr. Mushroom quest.
Okay. I forgot about Mr. Mushroom too. That's a whole other thing. The fact that he's in Farloom.
Yeah, he's funny. I like to see him.
I like Mr. Mushroom. So that's the last area you go and find Mr. Mushroom in. It's above the cradle. So it's above the entire kingdom. The whole time I was never really sure. I was like, is Farloom on the surface or is it underground still? Or are parts of it just underground? Because Mount Fae has like snow.
Yeah.
And there's rain in Greymoor. I'm not really sure where that comes from. But you find out, it's weird. Maybe part of Farloom is on the surface. We're not really sure. But you go above the cradle, and you come out from a tunnel. That's like a really hard platforming section.
Yeah, I can.
And then you come out into the nameless town. It's an empty town that kind of resembles Dirtmouth at the top of Hollow Nest. Oh. And it's kind of this cool moment where you're like, wow, I've come the opposite way of the original game. Where in the original game, you're going from Dirtmouth down as far as you can. In Farloom, you start at the bottom and you go all the way up. And then you get up here and you're like, wow, it's a cool inverse moment.
Huh.
But the lore implications are pretty interesting because you get to the surface here in this nameless town.
Yeah.
And it looks just the same as it did, or pretty similar to it did in the wilds of Hollow Knight, where it's just like dark It's windy. There's dust blowing everywhere.
Yeah.
There's no sun. And you're just like, so is the whole world, like the whole surface world, just like this? And you come to find out by playing your needle to like some what are they called, like ghosts or memories or vestiges or something of these bugs that live there. And they talk about being called down into Farloom, presumably by Grandmother Silk, because that's what pale beings do. They call bugs into their thrall.
Yes.
They have like almost an instinct to subjugate other bugs. So that's why the town is empty. And that's kind of echoes to something that Elderbug says in Hollow Knight about the citizens of Dirtmouth and travelers that come there. They feel a call to go down the well into Hollow Nest, presumably because of either the Pale King or like remnants of his power or something. So it's very interesting, just the parallels there.
Yeah.
And just like I'm very curious what it all means for the overall world. So like Farloom is completely underground, or at least mostly underground. Yeah. But like they also brought Hornet across the surface, it looks like. Like the blasted steps seem to be connected to the surface as well. So I'm wondering if like it's almost like an anthill situation. Farloom is like an anthill shape. Like a cone of earth rising up. I don't know.
That would make sense. There are ant-type bugs, too.
There are actual ants in this game, yeah. So...
like the side of a cliff,
and
maybe.
then... maybe. Yeah, and then... maybe like part of it is open, and that's where the rain and snow comes in for Greymore and Mount Fae. I don't know.
Yeah, that's weird.
But then is Mount Fae even a mountain if it's below this mound or this cliff face?
What the
I don't
heck?
know. It's all very interesting to me. I'm very interested in like the ecological, geographical situation going on in this world.
Yeah, like because Greymore really is.
And then
down
just
there.
It is, and then just like the way they write the bugs is very interesting to me as well, because they obviously they all kind of act on instinct.
Yeah.
The way actual animals do.
Yeah.
But they're still intelligent enough to be characters, and they're able to be, but they're still influenced by the nature around them. I don't know. It's just very interesting the way they write this world.
They do a great job.
Anyway, that's my rant.
No, good rant. Good rant. I didn't even know. I'll have to go and explore that nameless town.
It's a little tricky getting up there, but it's not. People were calling it like the Path of Pain, but it's not. It's not that bad.
Yeah,
it's not as bad as
looking
that.
at a map, it seems pretty long.
Just do you know the trick with the plasmium vials?
You can do them in midair. I know. Is that the trick?
There's that. So do you remember the Hive Blood charm from the first game?
Yeah.
How it give you the health regen? Mm-hmm. You can get that with the plasmium vials if you use the architect. The architect crest. If you basically make Hornet overdose on the plasmium vials, and then it replaces all of your masks with lifeblood, and they regen kind of similar to the way Hive Blood did.
Really?
And so that's really good for platforming. But then you have to deal with the architect down attack, which is pretty poopy.
Ooh.
But then it's not the worst thing in the world, because then your health just regens. You just get infinite tries.
That is a really cool synergy, though. I had no clue.
That's how I did it. That's how I got up there.
That is interesting. I wonder how many synergies I missed because I was too stuck on Reaper.
Good question. I don't know. There's some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Like how you can take the silk shot to different NPCs and they'll change. It'll have different properties depending on who you take it to get fixed.
What? Really?
Yeah, there's like 3 different versions of the silk shot. Yeah, you can take it to... Let me see. Right, there's only 2. You can take it to the 12th Architect, or you can take it to the Forge Daughter.
Oh.
Or you can repair it yourself at a room in Mount Fae. And I can't remember exactly what the difference is between them, but they have different properties. I think maybe one is just stronger than the other. I'm not really sure. I'd have to look into
Looks
that.
like
But
the refill cost is greater on the one you make yourself and the one you have the 12th Architect do, as opposed to the Forge Daughter.
oh, gotcha. So the 12th Architect's one, it's semi-automatic. It shoots 3 fast projectiles.
Oh.
Forge Daughter's variant shoots a single fast projectile horizontally, which deals decent damage. The original variant fires a focused beam of light horizontally.
Oh, like
there you
a
go.
frickin' laser
That's the
beam?
difference.
Wow.
And the beam pierces and ignores armor. Wow.
What?
Maybe the original. Maybe the one you repair yourself might be the best one. Then.
Huh.
Interesting.
Well, what if I want all of them?
I got the Forge Daughter one,
Same.
and it seemed really basic. So
Yeah, I used it for a bit. Huh.
so that's another cool thing.
So many cool little
That's something to do on repeat playthroughs.
secrets. What the heck?
Yeah.
I don't want to be missing stuff like this.
Guess you gotta play it again.
I guess I gotta go back in. No, I'll probably wait for.
Time to do Steel Soul run.
I gotta wait for DLC. I've got too many games. I still need to play Hades 2. That's the other kind of sequel game.
Oh yeah, I got into that for a while. I didn't play the newest update though. Apparently they changed the ending a little bit or something.
Oh.
I have to go check that out. But that was a good game. I had a good time with that too. That's a game of the year runner too,
Yeah,
isn't it?
Hades 2. Do you think it's as good as
Yeah,
Hades
that's a
1?
good
This
one.
is kind of not on topic, but what did you think of
Off topic. I think it's. Oh man, I don't know.
Because
They're kind of equal to me, because I feel like they're just kind of extensions of each other. You know, like they're similar enough where it's like, yeah, this is another Hades game, but they also have their differences. you know?
yeah.
So it's not worse at all, obviously. I don't know if it's better to me, because I liked the original one a lot.
You like the original more.
Well, I didn't say that, but I don't know. I don't know. They're both equal to me. They're both very good.
Very good.
The sequel, Hades 2, it's very good. I didn't get into the post game at all, so maybe I have to do that to really cement my opinion. But I got distracted now, man. I got too much going on. Too many games to play.
It's so annoying. Can they stop making games?
I think we're about to enter the slow season, right? Like January, February.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll have some time here
Hopefully.
to catch up.
Yep, gotta catch up before Half-Life 3 comes out. 100%.
But man, the new TFT set just came out, so I've been playing that a ton,
Yeah.
and it's unfortunately fun. So
Teamfight
You know.
Tactic, that's the auto battler from Riot, right?
yeah, the League Auto Battler. Yeah,
Yes, I played that for a little bit.
it's
But
fun.
I didn't get into it.
It's aight, you know. You just got to deal with, League of Legends as a whole.
And having a Riot launcher on your computer, right?
Yeah, having their Chinese spyware on your computer.
Classic Chinese spyware. No.
Anyway, back to Silksong.
Back to Silksong.
Anything else? Anything else you want to talk
I
about?
really do recommend the game. Honestly, I think people's opinions of the difficulty are valid, but I also don't consider myself like the best gamer in the world, and I was able to like overcome the difficulty with pretty much 3 hits and I was dead. So I really think people just gotta, if they want to get into it, I think they can. It takes a little dedication, couple little breaks, use your, swap out your equipment, at least get to the part where you get the Reaper crest so you're not dying to the pogos.
Yeah. Don't go to Hunter's March immediately.
Yeah, don't go there. Don't go there. But
it's just not worth it to go there.
I really do recommend the game. I think it's stellar. It's one of the better ones I've played as far as Metroidvania goes, really.
Yeah, if you want to talk about games that are just like top class of like game design, art, music, like atmosphere, world building, like this is the best you can get. This is like up there with the best of the best.
It really is, though. It really is. And it's impressive. It is just impressive that's made by those two guys and their little team.
Yeah, I hate them and I love them.
Yeah.
I hate that they didn't say anything to us for like 4 years.
Yeah, I think that's a little wild. Maybe don't do that.
That could have been handled a little better, I think.
Yeah.
Like even an update once a year saying like, hey, we're still working on it. It's coming. That would have been enough for me. But no, they just didn't say anything.
I think that was wild.
It was like at the beginning of this year, way back in January. I remember because I was on a trip to Hawaii with my family. There was like a whole thing of, I can't remember what the Twitter handle is, but there's a Twitter account that a lot of people are pretty sure is like William or Ari, like LARPing as a schizo or something, because he just posts like random schizo stuff. And one of it was like alluding to, it was something with a cake. What was the cake about? It's been so long.
I remember that. The cake had like the metadata of the cake had like a numbers in it, and the numbers could be translated into a date.
Yes, that's what it was. And it was like around when the Switch 2 was being announced, right? So people were like, holy crap, is Silksong going to be a Switch 2 launch title? Holy crap. And then Matthew Griffin had to come out and be like, look guys, this isn't real. Like, don't pay attention to this. And people got mad, and I was one of those people that got mad. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? We don't get anything for literally years, and the first thing you come out to say to us is to shut down the first hope we've had.
Don't believe the cake, man.
Yeah, I remember everyone was like, the cake was a lie. Holy crap. I still don't know what that was all about. I think it was... I think it did end up actually panning out a little bit, because at the Switch 2 reveal direct, that was the first new footage of Silksong we got.
Yeah.
And that's what eventually led up to the release date getting announced in September. Yep. So I think it did end up being something, which is really funny too, looking back on it.
Yeah. It's a wild ride though, man.
I remember being really mad on my trip in Hawaii. I was really mad.
How could you not be?
That was a doomer day for me.
Doomer day.
As I sat on the sunny, beautiful beach on Maui, I was like, man, life is terrible. Silksong isn't real. But now Silksong is real, so I can't complain.
Now you can go back to the beach and play Silksong on the beach.
Oh, you're so right. No, now I'm gonna go sit on the beach and be like, man, Bloodborne is dead.
Yeah, that's the new.
I can go back to being sad about that.
New thing to be sad about. Yep. New old.
Yep. One of these days I'll figure out how to get that emulator working.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Figure that out.
That's probably the only way.
Or I could just turn... Yeah, maybe. Or I could just turn on my PS5, which is literally just my Bloodborne machine now. Because the PS5 doesn't have any games. Huh.
Nah, no games.
No games.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, wait, they do have a game. They have Halo
That's true. That is so ridiculous, dude.
What a wild time.
Unbelievable. Anyway,
this is going to date this episode again, but Jeff Keighley's been posting some wild photos.
Yeah, the Jeff Keighley photos.
Leading up to the Game Awards.
It's got to be Jeff Slops. 100%.
It's going to be Jeff Slop, but it's got some people huffing the Bloodbornium. So
it is, yeah.
We'll see. I will say it's that weird statue that's out in the Mojave somewhere. The symbol on it does look kind of like a Carol rune from Bloodborne. But then but then the rest of it doesn't look anything like Bloodborne.
Yeah,
So I
it's the
seriously doubt it.
it's the gator with the arms that gets me. I'm like, what game?
It's got like a gator and like a bear,
what?
and like some generic looking.
What game has like
on it.
normal like animals from wildlife, but with some real beefed up arms, but also has like ghouls and demons? Like it just.
I know it's not Diablo, it's not Elder Scrolls, it's not God of War. We have no idea. It's gonna be like Lords of the Fallen 2 or something. Something nobody's gonna care about.
I will laugh. I will laugh. It would be funny. I don't know.
This is dating this episode, obviously.
Nah,
We're like a week out from the
just 1 week,
Game Awards,
but it'll be funny.
It'll be very funny.
Be Sid the Science Kid 2.
Finally, Silksong 2.
That would be something. That would be something.
That would be crazy.
Yeah. Jeez. You got any shout outs? Are you doing any public work at this time?
No. Not really. Just subscribe to TheNameBrand on YouTube.
Subscribe. Thank you.
And also go subscribe to Beef Cabin on YouTube. It's not mine, but it's my buddy Kyle's channel. And he really wants to be the best YouTuber out there, you know?
He makes good stuff. Well,
it's something.
Yeah. I guess if you got nothing, I can do my little outro. And we can close it on this shindig. So, thank you all for joining us in today's episode. As always, if you enjoyed it, please like it and or rate it on your platform. And share it perhaps with a friend, if you have those. I'm assuming everyone has at least one friend. Please share it to that friend. Void Arcade is an audio production of TheNameBrand, edited by me, Brando. The show notes, if you'd like them, can be read and found at www.thenamebrand.co/podcast. And that's it for this episode. That is all.
Thanks for listening. Pashanka.
Thanks for joining me. Thanks for waiting so long. It took me like 10 years to get to this game. I appreciate you.
Hey man, it's all right. You do it at your own pace.
I'm trying.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. Next time, more games. I don't even know what game would be next time.
It will be after the game though. I'm sure.
It will be. It will be.